training them. Conditioning them is training. You know, it's just a different term for the same thing. You know, knee-jerk reaction, right? So, for Arabic, though, we don't have to worry about that. That's a side issue of watching the English things you read. What that proves to us, again, is that there is a great need for us to present, write ourselves and present educational readings for our children from every level going forward. Is that, everybody agree with that or disagree? You agree with that? And we haven't done that. And sometimes we think that because those people who have preceded us in Islam, let's say like the immigrant population, you think, okay, they're going to come over, but they're just as colonized as we are. And sometimes even more naive because they think, hey, well, look, what's wrong with this education? They don't see it that's quick, so yet they have to experience. And they want us to wait while they experience it to tell us what's wrong with it, and that becomes an issue of, you know, bumping heads in that regard. Haven't we experienced that?
Yes.
Okay, and then sometimes after many years they turn back and say, well, you know, you were right. Or they tell us stuff that we already knew, right? So it's still our fault, because no matter what, even if someone else has to experience it for themselves to learn it, you don't. And since we know what the need is, we should be producing something to fulfill that need, that educational, cultivating need for our children, because that is something that needs to be filled. They have to read as children, right? They have to see themselves in that. There has to be some stories that they can imagine and learn language through. And through learning language, and this is why these are studied, and this is because in Arabic, this is not called liberal arts, it's called adab. Right? And so when from reading that, what do you learn? Adab, right? Because by learning how their interactions are going, what are you doing here? I thought you were gone. MashaAllah. MashaAllah, assalamu alaikum, labas alaik. So now where you been? Oh no, I said no problem. Alhamdulillah. So you guys get it? By reading the adab, the right stories, you learn how you're supposed to reply under the variant circumstances. Does that make sense? Yeah. So now when you read these stories, what are these stories filled with? First with the prophets. That's what our story should be of, right? Then with the Sahaba. Then with the righteous men that followed them, the famous, those people, so that they have realistic ideas of what to and how to, and they learn the proper adab, right? Proper expectations. Does everybody follow me? Hey, wallah. Alhamdulillah. I made mention about something somebody asked. Was it in this class that I made mention about, because somebody mentioned to me recently about, I talked about Medina University and somebody said something to me about it. Did I mention that in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make a mention again.
Saturday.
Jazakallah khair. Some people said to me, Abu Taubah, why are you saying that? Okay, look. I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody who graduated from Medina University. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. But what I am trying to get you guys to understand why those people say, the majority of the people that come out of Medina or those types of schools, they'll be quick to tell you there's no scholars in the United States. Okay? They'll be quick to say that. And that's based on their education. Does that make sense? Okay. Because again, to become a scholar, one of the first things you have to do is what?
Memorize the Quran.
Say it again.
Memorize the Quran.
Say it again.
Memorize the Quran.
And now, the question becomes, how many of them have done that by the time they get back here? And that is the difference. You know, so I'm not trying to, badmouth anybody. But the difference is, number one, that. Number two is, in our experience, we give ijaza. Okay? Just the time I've been back in the United States and been teaching, all of my students have ijaza. All of my students have memorized. Whatever science it is, memorized. When they get ijazah for Ajrumi, they memorize the entire Ajrumi. They memorize the whole Tuhfat al-Atfal, al-Jazari, any text that we do from memory, and can recite it and quote it before they get it. And the fact is, I teach them, I don't test them. We do it the old school way. I teach you, I don't give you ijazah. I send you to shuyukh who don't know you. Okay? They don't know you. They don't know your habits. They're not going to say, okay, baby, do this. No. You show up, even if it's online, if you ain't dressed properly, like this is an interview. They say, well, you must have got to the wrong place. It's gone. Your opportunity's gone. You might get it again in 4 months. And then they test you. They test you, and they have a particular technique. It's really done well. If it's a lady and there's a guy there, there's another lady there as well. It's always done this way. And then after they get tested, they get questioned, meaning memory first. And that is the difference. We produce ulama in the old school circles on every level. So no matter if they finish one level, they can teach that level. Okay, with confidence. You know, and isnad. And that goes back to our old statement that when we say the isnad is from the deen, right? Didn't we say that?
Yes.
Well, it's not just rhetorical. It's real. We can give ijazah and isnad and name our men back to every book. You name a book, we got isnad for it. I'm not joking either. If it's a classical book, I can say, wallahi, we have an isnad for it. That starts from me, that goes back to that person. Okay? And that's not bragging. That's just the old-fashioned way. You know, and they say, oh, well, what about Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah? That's one sheikh. That's just one sheikh. He's not all the shuyukh in the world. One angle. And even between him and me is only like 4 or 5 people. Okay? That's short of a distance. And some people have been sticking to that one sheikh for the last 20 years, and still 90% of their students haven't even memorized the usul al-thalath. Am I right or wrong? Haven't you guys taken that same class? It's been pushed down, and have you memorized it? Has anybody given you the class have ijazah in the class? No. So they can't give you ijazah in the class. And that's the difference. You guys, these are the meticulous differences. And we can't like try to save somebody's feelings and act like, no, this is the real deal. The real difference is, number one, all of my students if I say he's a sheikh, he's a hafiz Quran. Number one. If he's my student and I say that he finished, he has ijazah with isnad, and he's been tested not just by me, by somebody else. You get my point? No. And that is the way it is. Anybody that graduates from the traditional way. Now, this class here is a class on conversational Arabic, okay? It is the level that what we call layman is supposed to be. This is not the class for someone who says they're going to be a career talibul ilm. Okay, besides Ahmed, let's say. Because Ahmed is a career talibul ilm. But even then, I make you memorize, right or wrong. Yes. Memorize before I give a class. And that's the route. And he's already hafiz Quran. Alhamdulillah. You guys get my point? These are our younger ones. That we don't put them forward first to do certain things, because you don't put fruit that is not ripe yet to be ate, right? You don't take those to the market. So that's the route, and it's not a thing about you against somebody. It's not that. It's just that we don't want to lie to the people. We don't want people to have false understandings. And when we have a true understanding of what is actually out there and what we can do, and see, the thing about it is, when we think that we can't do it, then we don't do it. You know? But when we know that it's doable, then we rise to that ability. You know, and that's what we want. That's what we're trying to push more than anything else. Does everybody understand? Yes. And I don't mean any disrespect to that program at all. That program, we benefit from many different people who have graduated from that program and come back, and some of them are even ulama, because they don't stop there. You know, they keep going and going and going, and we, remember the Khidrs and the Bilal Phillips and the different ones that came, Abu Muslimas and Abu Usamas, who graduated from them, and even those guys are Hafiz Quran. Okay? Not from the school, but what they did after school. You get my point, guys? But how many of those are compared to all the people that graduated from them?
Handful.
Right. That's my point. And I'm not meaning to mean those people to say that's the only people that have benefited. You got a lot of different types of people that have benefited from that school, you know. But I'm just making mention that the old traditional way, everybody that gets out of it is a Hafiz Quran. Everybody that gets to the point where they say they're alim, they have ijazah in anything they speak about it or they don't talk. Because that's the rule, consistent rule. Does that make sense? No. And anything that I say I'm teaching, I not only have ijazah in it, but I have an isnad that I can name from me, listing the men going back to that author himself. Does that make sense? Okay. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that for clarity, to make total clarity, because that is the traditional way. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is the circle that we want to deal with here. Adab teaches us adab, right? And just back to the other people. Ibn Uthaymeen, he was the one that said that sometimes the Talib al-Ilm has to name it, has to do that. Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, he said sometimes as a Talib al-Ilm, you have to make statements like I just made right there to kill confusion.
Clear the air.
Clear the air, okay? Because some people say, well, you know, you're talking, you know, okay, X, Y, Z. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The adab from constantly reading will get you the proper adab and expectations, okay? And it will help you set your mind right. So we got to get back into that reading so we can stair-steply get our mind right. There's another issue that I want to just talk about right briefly. The issue of the salah. I mentioned earlier that the asl with Salatul Jummah is that it's supposed to be in what language? Arabic. And this is something that we had argued about 20 years ago, or maybe even 30. You know, if I can remember back in like 1990, 91, this was a discussion. I don't know how many years ago that is now, but let's say 20 years, okay? Now, what the issue is that we did not accept that at that time, and we started slowly but increasingly went from it being in Arabic, small khutbahs in Arabic that most of us could not understand at the time, to a piece of Arabic and English mixture, to being some part of it in Arabic, some part in English, to what we have now, which is mostly English, right? And it was because we made the excuse, well, we don't understand, most of us don't understand English. Arabic, right? Wasn't that our statement initially? And that won over, not because it was right, because there were people that were on the side of the Arabic side who just jumped on the other fence because they wanted English as well, because they wanted to work on their English. Does that make sense? All right. Now, by doing that, we're falling into the same thing we blame the Christians for. Us Muslims, those who also have converted to Islam or come from families of converts. Okay? What was that? That initially when they came into Christianity, they knew about the law, right? We all studied the Bible. There was the law that was there. But Paul said, well, let's not force the law on them right now because they're new to the religion, right? So he told the Greeks. So then first it was, no, don't have to get a circumcision because these guys are too old, right? Then it was, oh, no, you don't have to stop eating pork because it's not what goes into you, but what comes out. And then, oh, by and still today, thousands of years later, they still don't follow any law. Right? Am I right or wrong? Yeah. And we blame them for that, don't we? Yes. Right? Because they have it right there in the Bible. It says it all right over. I mean, if you look at it and they talk about that, what do you call it? In the Bible, it's talking about the prophet that's going to come from Piran. And it says Piran right there. And then in another chapter it says Piran is where Ibrahim was and his son made the house. And when Sarah and them went to the valley of Piran. And we're like, you don't get it? This is Islam? No, they don't get it. And we blame them for that. But now it's been 20 years and we still don't know Arabic. And we're still giving the khutbah in English. And it's a salah. And a salah is not so. And if we saw somebody saying Allahu Akbar, all praise is due to Allah, the most gracious and most merciful, we say, man, this guy's crazy. Right? We say, man, you can't do that. Well, I don't know Arabic. Well, that works for a day. Then you get a Xerox paper, right? And you read it. And that's what you do, even if it's written in English script, and you read it and you follow that until you memorize it. Don't we say that?
No. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what would have happened if we would accept the ruling that we have to change? Now, our ugly American came out and said, no, we ain't got to change. It got to change. Right? Because I ain't learning no Arabic. I can't do that. And I ain't even going to try. Right? So now we have to realize what we're doing is understand that what would have happened at first, we probably wouldn't have understood for a month or two. But what would it have forced us to do is find a way to understand. The khutbah might have had to become shorter. The speaker might have had to use clearer words to accommodate the people that didn't speak so well. Or they might have had to print out a translation and hand it out every class. I mean, after every Jumu'ah or before the Jumu'ah. Does that make sense? Yeah. But within 2 months or so, people say, no, I understand a little bit of that. Or I'm going to go and learn some more and start putting it to practice. And then by and by, just like when we hear Surah Al-Kahf, everybody knows Surah Al-Kahf. Why? Because you hear it every week, right? You don't even got to look it up. You hear it, you start following it. Yeah, I know that. So what is that? Oh, that must be Kahf. Just so that would have happened, and that's what I'm saying is that we have to, at some point in our life, make acknowledgments where we are wrong, and then turn around and go back and start all over and do it again. Does that make sense? So that we can go forward faster. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's something wrong with being strong and wrong. You know, that's called juhud. You know, where you know you're wrong and you say, well, now, even though I'm still going to do it. Wrong. I think it's time for the adhan. Yeah. تفضل يا شيخ. Oh, one of you. So while he's doing that, Dr. Yusuf, come here. And I say that to show the importance of us learning Arabic so we can understand the as-salah. Because that's what the objective is. What is obligatory becomes obligatory. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
كيف حالكم؟
بخير ولد الحمد لله.
ماشي. لا بأس الحمد لله. أنت تتكلم عربي.
شوية شوية.
ما شاء الله.
أنا
تفضل.
أدرس.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله هيا على الصلاة هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
I don't know whose adhan I like better, yours or his. Yeah, both got some really nice. Tabarakallah, mashallah. Mashallah. Okay, now this is the stance today. What we're doing today is a drill. Somebody's going to say to you, when you speak Arabic, they're going to say, oh, subhanallah, or mashallah, oh, tabarakallah. Some statement of isti'jab. Everybody say isti'jab. Meaning amazement, okay? When we get amazed, if you speak in English, you curse, right? I mean, this is the culture. What happens if you get amazed in English? Don't say it. Just think it for half a second, then say astaghfirullah.
Say awesome.
Yeah, okay. You must be from Cali or in the Valley. You know what I'm saying? Awesome, right? But other people, the tradition in this country is to say a foul word, you know? Or to say holy cow. or something like that, right? Oh, snaps. Or something foolish, some meaningless or harmful statement. But if you are amazed in Arabic, what do you say?
Alhamdulillah.
So, if you're from the Big Jamaat, you say Ajib. No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying we used to hear them say that first. They were quick to say that, But we learned first to say, and I don't mean it, this, no, stand up, Shaikh. No, man. Astaghfirullah, mashallah. Now, you say, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, mashallah, tabarakallah, right? Alhamdulillah, right? These are beautiful statements of isti'jab. So someone's going to make a statement of isti'jab when they say that, and then they're going to say, أنت تتكلم العربي? They're going to say to you, you speak Arabic? Or أنت تتكلم عربي كويس جيد, ممتاز. They may exaggerate. They may exaggerate, or they don't know, or they're just surprised. Okay? So you should be ready and aware with your this is another conversation. Okay? And so they're going to say, أنت تتكلم العربي? And when they do that, you say, Astaghfirullah. Because that's, the humble, astaghfirullah. And then respond, نعم أتكلم شوية شوية, a little bit. Shwaya. And we're going to go through that conversation. Let's go through it again. It's just part of the conversation because it's going to go further. Okay? Come on, man. You stand up. Got to get you on camera.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ما شاء الله. كيف حالكم؟
بخير. وأنت؟
لا بأس الحمد لله. اسمي أبو توبة مخلص. ما اسمك؟
اسمي يوسف عبد الوهاب.
ما شاء الله. من أين أنت؟
من United States.
ما شاء الله. من ولاية المتحدة. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. سبحان الله. وأنت تتكلم عربي؟
استغفر الله شوية.
الحمد لله ما شاء الله. أنت تتكلم يعني ممتاز ما شاء الله.
بارك الله.
ما فيكم بارك الله. Hey, well, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
Did everybody follow that conversation? He said, I'm in United States. If you say that, people, you think they don't know United States? That's like the international words. You don't have to worry about it. They can understand United States. Wilayat Muttahida. We're being polite by saying that. You don't necessarily have to translate the name of your country. Okay, you can say it whatever it is. You can say, I'm in, you don't have to say like sometimes in Spanish, yo soy de Nueva York. I don't have to say that. I can say, yo soy de New York. Right? I'm from New York. You don't have to say, Wilayatul Muttahida. If you say, I'm in the United States, they might even say, United States. Because they're used to hearing that term. So that's not a problem. The whole rest of the conversation was in Arabic, right?
No.
And you all understood it. Now, were you translating or were you understanding?
Understand.
Some people might have been understanding, some people might have been translating. We want to get to the point where you're so used to it, you understand it so quick you don't got time to translate. You get my point, guys?
No.
Okay, and that's when do we offer the salah, guys?
7 o'clock.
Okay, you're here today. You pay attention to that, okay? MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Well, the imam is right here.
3 minutes past.
The imam is right here, so you don't have to worry about it. هيا أنتم لا دعمكم هذا الموجود يعني عندما يقول ما شاء الله عفو الله عنه الحمد لله. Let's practice it again. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالكم؟
بخير الحمد لله. كيف أنت؟
لا بأس الحمد لله بارك الله فيكم. أنا أخوكم أبو توبة مخلص. ما اسمعكم؟ ومن أين أنتم؟
أنا من ولاية المتحدة.
من United States.
نعم.
ما شاء الله تبارك الله. حتى هنا؟
نعم.
وأنتم تتكلمون العربية؟
أيوة.
نعم شوي. نعم الحمد لله شوي.
ما شاء الله اللهم بارك فيكم. من كل ما يؤذيكم من كل عين وشيطان اللهم اشفيكم آمين والسلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
that's normally how a conversation will go. The person will start making dua for you. You know, that's just so normal in Islamic interaction. You know, that when somebody, did you understand the words I do in this? It said, hatta huna? Hatta huna. Everybody say that.
Hatta huna.
We'll say hatta hina.
Hatta hina.
Both of those are correct. You hear them. Hina wa huna, same word. Okay? It means, you know, hatta huna mean you even up to here. Y'all came from over there where you guys said you're from, all the way to here. You get it right? You get my point?
Yeah.
So hatta huna,
Hatta
get right all the way over here. Y'all came up. You know we would usually be at Mecca or Medina, right? Min Amrika nafsuha hatta huna, mashallah. You come a long way. Meaning Islam has reached you guys all the way over there. Hunak, we say hook. Okay, hook means like far, far away. Hunalik. Okay, you have huna,
Hunak.
hunak, hunalik, or hook. أنتم تقولوا hook يعني في السودان تقول hook أو هنالك. نعم. لا تقول hook تقول هنالك. أيوة الحمد لله. نعم هم يقولون I'm sorry. They say هنالك. هنالك is فصحى.
هنالك.
هناك وهنالك is further than هناك. Okay? هنا هناك هنالك. This is way far. Like هنا is dirham, right?
نعم.
هناك is in the parking lot. Okay?
نعم.
هنالك is Greensboro.
هنالك. نعم.
هنالك. You get my point?
نعم.
Hey, well, alhamdulillah.
نعم.
You want to look at the time, bro?
This thing.
Alhamdulillah.
They always say, can you get me to America?
Yeah, then they're going to say, and that, يعني,
Give me a visa.
and that visa. Yeah, ساعدني في الدخول.
No, marry me, marry me.
Yeah, marry me, right?